Have you ever been in a situation where you did the right thing, but yet you still got in a little bit of trouble? Yeah, I think we all have had those situations before where we've done the right thing and then you still get in just maybe even just a little bit of trouble. And you think, gosh, this just doesn't make sense. Why did this happen? I did the right thing. Well, today we're going to look at another story with Joseph. And we're going to see how he did the right thing, but he still got in trouble for it. In fact, he did the right thing 2 different times, and it just didn't work out the way it was supposed to. So I want you to read the story in a second, pause the video, answer these few questions, and then when you're done, press play. But I want you to see how Joseph responded in these 2 situations. Ready? Pause the video now. Life is not fair. Let's just be honest. I mean, it's just not fair. And in particular, Joseph here, not once, but twice, did the right thing. And he got in trouble for one, and then he got forgotten on the other one. And it just doesn't make any sense. You're like, why did this happen? But here's the really cool thing that happened in the story with Joseph, is that God was with him throughout. You know, God enabled him to be accelerated to a high level in Potiphar's house, and then God enabled him to accelerate to a high level and a high position in jail. Both times, things didn't work out as Joseph had planned, but they worked out even better because God was in control and God was with Joseph. And so that what brings up our bottom line for today. When life doesn't make sense, you can trust that God is with you. Life definitely did not make sense here for Joseph, and it doesn't minimize the fact that it really was a terrible thing that happened with Joseph, with Potiphar and with the baker and the cupbearer. But the reality is that God was still with him, and that Joseph knew that and was able to rely on God even more. So I want to encourage you that, you know, when life doesn't seem to be fair, or when life seems crazy and doesn't seem to work out, know that God is still there with you and that you can trust him and you can rely on him to guide you through each and every step that you go through. And this really ties along really well with the memory verse that we have all month long. Do you remember it? It's Proverbs 3:5. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Do not depend on your own understanding. If Joseph tried to depend on his own understanding with what just happened to him, he would have gone insane. He would have gone crazy. It would drive even the most sane people crazy. But he didn't depend on his own understanding. He depended on God and trusted God because God had a bigger plan for his life. So I want to encourage you, when life doesn't make sense, trust in God and rely on him because God is there with you. All right, everyone. Well, I hope this week that you can trust in God just a little bit more, even when life doesn't make sense. And I hope you join me next week as we hear a whole new story about trust and Joseph. Have a great week, everyone.